This clip is on BTC USD and is being done from within our new Sniper Circle trading setups and forum for our private members. Bitcoin USD is the topic, with macro, super macro, trend and pattern views being discussed with a WhatsApp like chat feature. This is the Loom and the details left for our guys. I'm going to take you into the clip, and that was the chart just prior with us modeling a upside left shoulder HVF and a downside target to sub 8k. Enjoy the clip. Hey guys, Crypto Sniper here, and on the bigger time frames I've been suggesting that we need a breather, and I just earlier in the day suggested we were about to have a spill on a head and shoulders here on Bitcoin. So this is quite a low time frame one, so we're looking at Bitcoin on the 15, just pushing it up to the 30, and you'll see from our bigger draws that we've largely expected it to have, there's been some grinding, and it was in a nice rising wedge on the bigger time frames. Let's jump back to this chart. And it's blown off out the top, so it's been squeezing up rather nicely, and you can see this is kind of what I'm illustrating with these lines over here, that we had a wedge pop out the top when we ran the 8k mark. There was our some legacy levels as well. Here was the 8k over here, and the head and shoulders that we've got is probably likely to take us back under the 8k, as I'd spoken to the guys forewarning that there was structure for that. And we're actually seeing it now in play. I've looked away and got on with other things, but it's just interesting when you look back and you see suddenly that is happening. So the key elements that I was highlighting, let's look at it in this chart. We had a nice little upside HVF over here with a little funnel there, green line, red line and orange line pop, and it made its target rather beautifully, and that was the final one. And then you got close to a double top and a weaker second bull environment. Then once you negated that funnel with that move down, that was invariably a sign that you're probably going to sell off. You rallied back in. This is all in a legacy funnel. The green and red lines are previously to the upside, and you were trapped sitting on this axis holding it. Went really low volatility, and invariably this was a weak right shoulder looking to roll over, which is now triggered, as we'd indicated would probably be the risk of occurring. So I suppose the points for you guys who are getting this now retrospectively, although it's still got more downside to go, is, well, how far might it go? Is this highly significant? And I would say it's not particularly significant in that it's overdue and probably a bit needed. We took the 8k mark. We've had a good rally since the first inverted head and shoulder lows. That if we take us right back down to, or right up, sorry, from the 15-minute to the hourly, we've been talking to you about the inverted head and shoulders that have been performing on different time frames, and there's been quite a lot of it about. It probably would have been easier for me to do on the slightly, excuse me, I'll get this right one day, get out of draw mode. You'll see that we've covered this quite a lot of times. This was the first inverted made target. We then triggered this as a far larger one. That was its neckline. That made target over here. And then we ran the 8,000 level, which is over performance. And you've got, as I've mentioned, this wedging look, which is not drawn on this target, but is coming across like that. And squeezing, so we melted up out the top, and that kind of brings us to where we are. This has been a good move. You've got to remember that the support there, way down there, is at the 6,000s level, low 6,000s, and you've run from 6,000 to 8.5. $2,500 has occurred since roughly the 13th low to where you are today on the 25th. 12 days. So is Bitcoin allowed a break and a bit of a rest? Well, indeed it is. It looked like it was going to take it there, but there was no follow through. Brian came in, looked again, no, and it kept setting up and winding up and making the targets. It's probably due one, and I expect it to fall under the 8k mark as part of that process. Although if it doesn't, all that means is that it's even more determinedly bullish. So my bias is for the time frame since the 13th, which just takes us to the 15 minutes, the 5 minutes, the 15 minutes, the hourlies, and the 4 hourly remains bull, and this is in a fairly small head and shoulders for what we've done. The target generated by it using HVF method brings you down to around about here. So this is what we were highlighting, and if we run down there, you're in about the 7,900s. Assuming it doesn't go full-blown overperformance to the downside and get a spank, which I am not seeing as the high probability option. I think it either just makes that target or it even fails to make the target. Those two options of the three, versus the overperformance option, which I consider as minority. So let's see how we turn out. Nice little squeeze though just before it rolled, so you could have got a little bit short. I'm not shorting into something that I have now on the low time frames up to the medium time frames, green lights, and we've reverted from an amber on the daily to now, with the invalidation of the inverted, to early green, so kind of off amber to green. It's sitting in between those two stools at the moment. So the only thing that could take us back to red on what I consider our daily view, and we'll just flash you past that and get a bit more data in, would be some form of structure. Let's do it on the other chart, which is less busy. Daily, daily, daily. Let's do it over there. The only thing that could take you really back to the scare moments, and I still have some annotations from our macro inverted that has thankfully not performed and stopped out. At the end of the day, we're crypto believers, but you've got to trade what you see, not what you believe or hope. This rounded base bottom with this inverted clear point of rally. That doesn't mean it goes to this hyperbolic bull state. Unfortunately for others, you know, we're sharing some very good 2014 analysis amongst the community, and you can see that it just goes lower vol, bases out, lower vol, bases out, generally small succession of marginally higher highs, higher lows, and you get that sort of low volatility rounding bottom, and this entire process has to become part of that full pipe. And part of what happens is you need the violent vol that was generated by the blow-off buying and then the subsequent smash down selling that give you all these V-shaped bottoms to slowly turn into rounded low volatility bottoms. Then you start getting the cupping, which goes with cup and saucer patterns and lower vol, and that sets up and recoils the spring for the upside. So you have to go through each step. You can't jump. It's very rare that you'll go just pure melt up. These have been good moves up, but it's not this. It is not that kind of a market. It doesn't switch binary, and I've said this before. So that's your take on the BTC market. On the shorter time frame, that was it on the macro. Look at this 2014 lows. You eventually get a foundational low which is rejected, which is incidentally on just above the funnel support here on the previous upside setup, and you just get a proper rejection, and the candles went really small. Look how small this trade area is. It's a log scale now, thin, small, boring in some ways, then a little bit of a move up, then back to boring, and that's when it's boring you get your next move up. This is what we teach you. It's the volatility, stupid, not always the RSI indicator or some other mathematically derived formula on price data, and each point of low vol then begets further more expansive price behavior. And then this is the bit you all want, but you can't have those beautiful sunsets unless you sit your way through the daytime or a full night at first, and these are the cycles that have got to occur. So that's your macro view. This was your right down to literally, I think we took it to 5, or we preferred that one, 15-minute setup, where you're probably likely to have a little dip back, and it's probably going to take you potentially through the 8K mark. If it doesn't, what it means is that you are even stronger than you think, and that the reversal patterns to the downside are failing. That means the buyers are coming in under it each time. Sometimes it's good to actually let a full reversal bleed out, and that those that have taken some money get out, get properly off the bus, so that the bus can continue on its journey without people saying, stop the bus, I need a wee-wee. The nervous hands can get off. And that's the case of where we're at the moment. So you saw that target when we did the draw on here, and as I said, it was around about 7.9, what was it? Let's get it in again. There you go, around 7,900s, just borderline. So it could get into the low 7.8s. Nice little squeeze. Okay, I'm done. Enjoy yourselves. Trade safe and small. By the way, webinar July the 31st. That's right, 31st, 1900. Register on the website. Trading for a living and keeping that which you make, and the 7 great mistakes that people make, and the 3 huge gifts that you often leave behind. We may look at one of those scripts to give you that is most suited to the market, and you can go register on themarketsniper.com if you want to hear that. There will be an offer at the end of that, and as I've said before, trading is not for every single person. Learning a method, if you intend to speculate markets, will put you in a more powerful position. Okay, I'll speak to you later. Enjoy.